The night Tony Curtis collapsed on The Tonight Show became a defining moment that showed audiences a different side of Johnny Carson. Yes, he was a brilliant entertainer with perfect timing and quick wit. But he was also a man who valued being prepared, who kept himself trained in skills he hoped he'd never need to use, and who could remain calm and effective in the face of crisis. Medical professionals who have reviewed the footage still use it as an example of how proper first aid and crisis management should be handled. Years later, when asked about the scariest moment of his Tonight Show career, Johnny Carson always mentioned that night with Tony Curtis. "People tune in to laugh and be entertained," Johnny said. "They don't expect to see their host dealing with a medical emergency. But life doesn't stop because the cameras are rolling, and I'm just grateful that I was able to help a friend when he needed it." Today, when emergency response trainers teach crisis management and first aid, they often show the footage of Johnny Carson's response to Tony Curtis's collapse. It demonstrates that knowing what to do in an emergency isn't just for medical professionals. It's a skill that anyone can learn and that everyone should have. Johnny Carson entertained millions of people over his 30-year career, but the 90 seconds he spent saving Tony Curtis's life might have been his most important performance. Not because it was entertaining, but because it was real, effective, and life-saving. If this incredible story of quick thinking and preparedness moved you, make sure to subscribe for more true stories about the moments when celebrities showed they were more than just entertainers. Share this video with someone and consider taking a first aid course. You never know when you might need those skills to save a life. Johnny Carson was interviewing actor Tony Curtis when suddenly mid-sentence Curtis grabbed his chest and collapsed on the Tonight Show stage. What Johnny did in the next 90 seconds saved his life, and doctors later confirmed that without Johnny's quick thinking, Curtis would have died on live television, April 15, 1982. The Tonight Show was running smoothly on what seemed like another typical Thursday night. Johnny Carson was interviewing Tony Curtis, the legendary Hollywood actor known for classics like Some Like It Hot and Spartacus. At 57 years old, Curtis was still active in the industry, and he had come to The Tonight Show to promote his latest film and share stories from Hollywood's golden era. The interview had been going perfectly. Curtis was in his element, charming the audience with behind-the-scenes stories about working with Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon, making Johnny and the studio audience laugh with his impeccable timing and natural charisma. The energy was electric, and the banter between Johnny and Tony felt effortless. Two entertainment legends at the top of their game. But 8 minutes into the interview, something changed. Johnny Carson, with his decades of experience reading people and managing live television, noticed it first. Tony Curtis, who had been gesturing animatedly while telling a story about Billy Wilder, suddenly stopped mid-sentence. His face, which had been flushed with the warmth of laughter and storytelling, went pale. "Tony," Johnny said, leaning forward slightly. "You okay?" Curtis didn't answer immediately. His hand went to his chest and he blinked several times as if trying to clear his vision. The studio audience, thinking this might be part of a bit or a dramatic pause in his story, remained quiet. Curtis started to say, but his voice was different, strained and confused. "Johnny, I don't feel..." And then Tony Curtis collapsed forward in his chair, his body going limp as his head dropped toward his chest. For a moment that felt like an eternity, but lasted only a fraction of a second. Johnny Carson had to process what was happening and decide what to do. The cameras were still rolling. 20 million people were watching live. His guest, a Hollywood legend, a friend, had just collapsed in